but I think, shouldn't every home be a safe zone? Is that just me? I mean, like, this is one of those questions where I really wish I were live. And we will go live in 10 days. But I'm like, what? Why? Why is every house not a safe zone? When, when a parent, when a mother is having her child, and the doctor says, I think everybody asks this question, do you want a boy or a girl? 9 times out of 10, I have heard parents go 10 fingers and 10 toes. Right? 10 fingers and 10 toes. That's all we care about. Happy, healthy, kicking, and they're beautiful. It doesn't matter what gender they come out as, what their birth assigned genitalia or those chromosomes tell us. When does that change? Does it change as the day that they come into this earth? Or onto this earth? Not into it. We had that talk. Does it, why does that change for some households? I don't understand that part. But again, we see kids who have a strong rejection for, and this is toys and games and other things that are typically associated with their birth assigned gender. I'm assuming that, girls who don't want to play with dolls, boys who don't want to play with trucks and dinosaurs. The cool thing is nowadays, again, a lot of people are letting their little girls play with dinosaurs, and they're letting their little boys play with dolls. Why? Because we have learned that young men who play with dolls make better dads, whether they choose to be transgender or not. Little girls who want to be paleontologists when they grow up play with dinosaurs. All right, that's not to say that hey, my kid's playing with dinosaurs, great, he's going to be a paleontologist. No, it merely means that you can't base this now on whether they reject a certain type of toy. Leo loved playing with calico critters and horses when he was little. I mean, like, and he still collects stuffed animals. Holy cow, you should see that boy's room. That boy's room is insane. Talk about an individual. I mean, like, as far as unique perspectives go, Leo's room is full of stuffed animals, primarily the Squishmallows, because he loves them. Stuffed TY dinosaur, or stuffed TY dragons, because he collects them all, right? And bones. He loves taxidermy. So we have a store close by called Strange and Unusual, and he saves up every single allowance, and that's what he goes there. He goes for alligator skulls, or fur, or pelts, and I should point this out right now for those of you who are going, oh, that's so horrible. The animals that are there, the pieces that are there, these animals they're roadkill. They're roadkill. They've been taken, they've been cleaned, they've been processed, and no animals were euthanized or killed in any cruel and unfavorable manner. These animals, they died. They died. I don't want to say of natural causes, because a tire's not a natural cause, but they were roadkill. So, in that case, like I said, Leo is one of those kids who's all over the place. He used to watch My Little Ponies, for the love of goodness. But then the same thing, I did too. What I realize now is that I made all of my My Little Ponies, gave them all buzz cuts. I should have known back then that I was a boy, but I guess I just didn't click in. If your child is insisting that they are an opposite gender than their assigned gender, big trigger, big hint, okay? If they desire to be treated as the opposite gender. This one gets me too, because I don't understand why any gender should be treated different. Again, I know, utopia mentality, society as it should be. I don't like that whole men get paid better than women, men have more opportunities than women. Is it true? Yes. Have I experienced it? Yes. Do I like it? Hell no. But, if your daughter wants to hold open the door because it makes her feel like a gentleman, let her hold open the freaking door. If a young man wants to put on makeup because it makes him feel beautiful, let him put the makeup on. And there's a couple of other ones in here, but again, it just kind of reiterates the same thing. Again, a desire to have the primary and secondary sex characteristics of the preferred gender identity. Again, myself and Leo, we both want top surgery. We know that. We're counting down the days. I just got approved for my hysterectomy. So, but again, I'm at the age where that's neither, that doesn't necessarily have to be a transgender thing. I clearly don't need the parts anymore. But again, there are so many things. And I know this one is kind of, I keep pushing this one towards, parents who identify, or parents who have non-binary or transgender children. But this is for the adults too. The adults who are new or trying to explore this or consider this. So it doesn't necessarily have to be, just because, it doesn't have to pertain to little kids. And don't even go there, some of you adults who just went, well, I'm an adult, I don't play with toys. BS. I have Cards Against Humanity, and I love it. Okay? I have stuffed animals. Don't even tell me. I still have my collections of things, and yeah. Don't for a second. And I've been dressing like a guy forever. I mean, here I am currently. I'm sitting in a pair of cargo slacks and, work boots and a t-shirt. And this is pretty gender neutral in my opinion. I don't think this is male or woman because I think either or can carry it off. The big difference is this just happens to be a man's shirt and it just happens to be a man's khakis. Actually, I think even more men's size boots. But again, that's neither here nor there. So, it just is. All right, so again, I'm still on this Very Well Health Mind, or verywellmind.com. And I've come down here onto this table of contents, and it's causes. This one rubs me the wrong way, and I don't like it, but I'm going to talk about it. And again, one of those things that I like is, again, Leo and I would be, kind of going back and forth on this one about why it is or why it isn't. So, and this talks about the exact cause of gender dysphoria is not completely understood, but several different factors may play a role. Okay, now, so they're even saying they don't know what causes it, and I don't know if there's so much as a cause. Again, the mental underlying is that we identify differently than our assigned gender, but again, who are doctors to assign our gender? So I don't know if the underlying causes are necessary, but this says genetics, hormonal influence during prenatal development, and environmental factors may be involved. So this is basically saying, for example, prenatal exposure to certain chemicals have been associated with a disruption of normal development of sex determination prior to birth. Research also points to a genetic link, since there is a higher share prevalence between identical twins than between fraternal twins. Now, this may or may not be something that affected, maybe early onset gender dysphoria. Kids, because I mean, let's face it. I've read articles where there's 3-year-olds who are exhibiting gender dysphoria, 5-year-olds, 6-year-olds. It's not just that preteen stage, like Leo came into it, or even and I'm going to say this, even my niece. There's no rhyme or reason. I've talked to a couple people who can't say, yes, it happened at this time, or I think I started remembering it about this time. I was in my 20s. I was in my 20s when I started having, when I started questioning it, because I was in a highly demanding, stressful, male-dominated world, and I was keeping up. So I started going, maybe am I doing that? Am I really a girl? What if I'm a guy? What if I'm in the wrong? Yeah, what if I'm in the wrong body? And there's a couple people who would say, that gender dysphoria also goes along with past lives. And I know I'm kind of going out on a limb here, but you know how people hear deja vu and things like that. So what if you were the opposite gender in a past life and you still are bringing that with you to this life? And that's one of those things. But I kind of keep that in the same pocket as genetics and hormonal influence during prenatal development. Because they're saying that there's certain chemicals that could be associated with it, but they're not specifying which chemicals. Like, did the woman have too much testosterone in her body? What chemical, was in there during development that somehow convinced the brain of the fetus or the unborn child, whichever you prefer to call it, that, hey, you know what, even though you're being born with this, you're going to identify as that. Or you're born with this, but you're not going to actually agree with either or. And so the onset of gender dysphoria is often during early childhood. Again, I don't agree with that. It's not often anymore because we're seeing it more, because we're paying attention to it more. It's just like, again, I'm going into red flag territory and I know it, but, we see all these crimes on the news and pedophiles and rapists and things like that. And we're like, oh my God, what's the world coming to? Well, it's not that there are more of them. It's that we have better access. We have the internet now. We didn't have the internet when I was a kid, remember? You wouldn't remember, but I remember being in high school when AOL first came out. There wasn't this accessibility to world news. You saw the hour of nightly news on, and that was it. And a lot of this stuff didn't get covered because the world didn't want to know. Now we have, we have Megan's Law, and we have websites that tell us exactly where these people live once they're out of jail. So I don't think that, gender dysphoria is an often early onset thing. I don't think it happens more. I think it's just that we are aware of it now. And again, it specifies why the exact mechanics are unclear. We do know that when children are born, they are assigned a sex based upon their physical anatomy. See, this is where it gets me. They're assigned a sex. Well, again, who the bleep are you to assign the gender of a child? Okay? And I know that they're talking about leaving that marker open on birth certificates. It's something that's been in the talks for a little while until the child decides or the family decides. Excuse me. The sex of this, but the sex of that child is assigned at birth often determines how they are raised. So again, if this is kind of this particular paragraph that I'm reading is saying that a doctor is responsible for your gender because he identifies your gender based on your organs, and you're raised based on that doctor's assessment of your genitalia. Well, that just seems silly. And I know we've been doing it that way for, oh my God, years. We've been doing that way for hundreds of years, if not thousands of years. And it's just, really? And I said this before, or I might have said it on a different one. One of the ones I tried to record the other earlier. I think that, as humans go, this is what I would classify as an evolutionary step. And again, I'm bridging dangerous waters, I know. So the thing is, between humankind and our closest relatives, the orangutan and chimpanzees, even though I think we have more in common with amoebas or bananas or something like that. But anyway, the thing is that somewhere along the evolutionary ladder, we became self-aware. We became self-thinking. We identified ourselves as individuals where chimpanzees and orangutans did not. And thus Homo sapien and Homo erectus began to separate themselves from their ape cousins. And again, we're talking eons and eons ago. And the reason why I'm saying this is that we self-identify and we became self-aware. During the Renaissance era, in the 12th century, we developed this, again, another cognitive awareness where it was not so much about pleasing other people or seeking the gratitude and gratifications from other people, but seeking self-gratitude. Understanding that, the Egyptian people, prior to this, again, we're now BC, they worked 6 to 7 days a week. They didn't usually take a day off. Even in Jewish culture, again, in the same time frame, they worked 6 days a week. They took the Sabbath off, and that was it. And that was because, the good book or the Bible or their religion said so. Here, and then, like I said, and then we go to the Renaissance age where, we no longer are worried about pleasing other people so much, but self-gratification and what we like to do. And we see that with Michelangelo Because he actually, and I just read this, Michelangelo actually hated to paint. And I know he painted the Sistine